Hello students, good morning all of you. Welcome to the mobile computing class. Today is the class number 10. We are successfully entered into the week number 3. In the last 2 weeks, we have completed 9 lectures which belongs to unit number 1. In the unit number 1, we covered the topics mobile communication introduction, mobile computing introduction, and some of the novel applications of mobile computing, and what are the drawbacks and the limitations of mobile computing, and the most important one, GSM architecture and its services. What are the different services of the GSM and GPRS architecture, uh, and we covered mobile and handheld devices. So these are the main topics we discussed in the past 2 weeks in 9 lectures. First 7 lectures belongs to the unit number 1, and in the lecture 8 I covered overview of unit number 1, and in the lecture number 9 we discussed MCQs which belongs to unit number 1. Now we are successfully entering into unit number 2. So that is unit number 2 in mobile computing. That is medium access control, MAC. Simply we are called it as MAC, medium access control. In the unit number 1, in the introduction of mobile communications and mobile computing, we discussed that data, either the data may be audio, video, or text, whatever it may be, it has to be transmitted from one location to the another location by using either a guided transmission media or unguided transmission media in the way of waves. So coming to the mobile computing, which is mainly depending on the unguided transmission media, that is a wireless communication media. Wireless communication. In this unguided transmission media, the text or audio or video or multimedia, whatever it may be, all we are called it as data. So the data has to be transmitted from one location to the another location, or from sender to the receiver, or from source to the destination in the way of wireless by using unguided transmission media. For that purpose, we discussed some topics like GPRS. So their data will be transmitted in the way of packets. We discussed about the GSM architecture, so which is the standard architecture for the mobile computing and for the mobile communication. So wireless transmission purpose, the major role played by the GSM architecture. So the data is transmitted from one location to the another location by using wireless. So how the data is transmitted from sender to the receiver or source to the destination, from or in our language, in mobile computing language, from one mobile station to the another mobile station, how the data is transmitted. So data is transmitted from mobile station to the mobile station via BTS, via BSC, via MSC. So this scenario already we discussed in the GSM architecture. So MS is connecting to the BTS, BTS connected to the BSC, BSC connected to the MSC. So if the MS within the range of same MSC, so the work done by the MSC. Otherwise, if the MS within the range of same BSC, the work done by the same BSC. but the second MS is in the range of another MSC. So the MSC 1 identifies the address of the another MSC and establish a path between one mobile station 1 to mobile station 2. So how this path is established, how the medium is accessed, and how the medium is controlled. So that what we discussed here in the unit number 2, that is a medium access controller, which is specially for the wireless devices. That's why wireless medium access control. So medium access control is the unit number 2. What we discussed in the unit number 1, which is related to unit number 2. So in the unit number 1, just we discussed, so what are the limitations, what are the drawbacks, and how the data is transmitted, what are the basic architectures, so like GSM and GPRS. So what are the introduction of mobile communication and mobile computing, that what we discussed in the unit number 1. So introduction part is over in the unit number 1. So architecture part is also over in the unit number 1. So how the packet data transmission, how the data is transmitted from one location to the another location, from one place to the another place, or one mobile station to the another mobile station, that what how the path is established, how the medium is accessed, that what we discussed here in the unit number 2. So these are the topics we have to cover in unit number 2. Those are motivation for a specialized MAC. So what is the need for specialized MAC in the wireless communication medium? So what is the need for specialized MAC? So before going to discuss about the need for the specialized MAC, first we have to discuss what are the problems there in the wireless transmission medium. So hidden and exposed terminals, near and far terminals, that what we discussed in the lecture 1. Hidden and exposed terminals, near and far terminals. So how we have to avoid these problems by using specialized MACs. That is first part in the unit number 1. And these are the topics you guys already know a bit about the concepts. You studied these topics in the networks. But here we have to discuss these topics related to mobile computing or mobile communication technology. So you guys studied about SDMA, FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, and wireless LANs, and IEEE 802.11. So all these topics you guys completed there in the network subject. But what we discussed here is, here we are discussing about how these topics are related to our mobile computing and mobile communication technology. So how FDMA is used in the mobile computing, how SDMA is using in the mobile computing, how TDMA and CDMAs are using in the mobile communication and mobile computing environment. Okay, these are the topics we have to cover in the unit number 2. Those are motivation for a specialized MAC, and SDMA, FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA, and finally wireless LAN, that is IEEE 802.11. Now entering into unit number 2, the first concept, the introduction of MAC. So what is MAC? The media access control. MAC stands for media access control. Data communication protocol sublayer, which is the data communication protocol sublayer. So there is another name for MAC is, it is also known as medium access control. So MAC stands for, there are two names. One is media access control, and the second one is medium access control. So MAC stands for medium access control or media access control. So both are right. So MAC is a sublayer of data link layer. So I think you guys know OSI reference model. So data link layer is the second layer there in the OSI reference model. So in the 7-layer architecture, the basic layer is the physical layer. So then after, the second one is the data link layer. So MAC is the sublayer of data link layer. So what happened there in physical layer? The physical connection establishment, the raw bit, the raw data collection, that done by the physical layer. Now the second layer is the data link layer. So the specifications of the role of a data link layer is it has to be convert the raw bits into the form of frames. So the data link layer consisting of two sublayers. In that sublayer, in the two sublayers, one sublayer is the MAC, medium access control or media access control. So the MAC is the data communication protocol sublayer. It is also known as medium access control. So there are the two names for MAC: media access control or medium access control. MAC stands for either media access control or medium access controller, which is the sublayer of a data link layer in the 7-layer OSI model. Next, the hardware that implements the MAC is referred to as an medium access controller. The hardware that implements the MAC is referred to as an medium access controller. So the MAC sublayer acts as an interface between the logical link control sublayer and the network physical layer. So logical link control, which is the another sublayer in the data link layer. So data link layer consisting of two sublayers. One sublayer is MAC and another sublayer is LLC, logical link control. So if you observe this diagram, you can easily identify. So this is the general internal model: physical layer, data link layer, then network layer, transport layer. So that's what we studied there in OSI. So physical layer is the basic layer and the second layer is the data link layer. So here in the data link layer, which is converted into two sublayers, those are LLC, logical link control, and media access control or medium access control, MAC. So this is IEEE standard, transmission media. Here in the transmission media, this is the IEEE standard. In the IEEE standard, the data link layer is converted into two sublayers, that is MAC and LLC, logical link control. So this is the general internal model. Physical layer is connecting with data link layer. So data link layer is converted into data link layer consisting of two sublayers. One is MAC, medium access control. Second one is LLC, logical link control. So the hardware that implements the MAC is referred to as an medium access controller. The MAC sublayer acts as an interface between the logical link control, sublayer and the network's physical layer. So you can observe the diagram. So MAC acting as the interface between logical link control LLC and physical layer. So which is placing in between the physical layer and logical link control layer. Logical link control layer is the sublayer in data link layer. MAC also the sublayer in the data link layer. So, but it is the basic part in data link layer. It is the top part in the data link layer. So MAC acting as a interface between physical layer and logical link control LLC. So the MAC layer emulates a full duplex logical communication channel. It emulates a full duplex logical communication channel in a multi-point network. So multi-point means multiple point connection establishment. Data has to be transmitted from one point to the another point. So what is meant by full duplex? So full duplex means there is a at a time possibility of sending and receiving. So half duplex, what is the difference between the half duplex and full duplex in the network? I think you guys are studied this in networks. So half duplex means there is only possibility of one-way communication. Sender sends and receiver receives. Sender sends the data, receiver only receives the data. But here in the full duplex, sender sends the data and at a time sender receives the data, whatever the, for example, there is a two users are there, user 1 and user 2. User 1 wants to communicate with user 2. So user 1 sends data 1. While data 1 reaches to the user 2, so user 2 sends an acknowledgement to the user 1. So there is a two-way communication is possible. That is called it as a full duplex mode. So MAC layer emulates a full duplex logical communication channel in a multi-point network. So that is the difference between full duplex and the half duplex. Here in the full duplex, multi-way data transmission is possible, but coming to the half duplex, only one way communication is possible. Sender sends, just only receiver receives. This channel may provide unicast, multicast, and broadcast communication service. So the logical communication channel in the MAC, the logical communication channel in a MAC may provide unicast, multicast, or broadcast communication services. Not only the unicast, not only the multicast, not only the broadcast. It provides unicast as well as multicast and as well as broadcast communication services. So the MAC layer emulates a full duplex logical communication channel in a multi-point network. This channel may provide a unicast, multicast, or broadcast communication service. So this is the diagram. IEEE standard to the internet model. Physical layer, data link layer. Physical layer, data link layer. But here the data link layer is subdivided into logical link control and medium access control. Now, motivation for a specialized MAC. What is the need for MAC here in the mobile communication technology, here in the mobile computing technology? So why we preferred these specialized MACs in the mobile computer? One of the most commonly used MAC schema for a wireless network is carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. Carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. One of the most commonly used MAC scheme, which is the wireless communication for a wide network, is carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. MAC is used in the both wide communication but wireless communication. But here we required wireless communication only. Why? Because we are using mobiles here in the technology what we discussed from the past 9 classes. So the mobile devices are the movable device or handheld device, easy to move, easy to carry from one location to the another location. For that purpose, it required wireless communication channel. But one of the most commonly used MAC scheme for wide network is carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. Carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. In this scheme, a sender sends the medium, a wire or coaxial cable, to see if it is free. So the basic principle, our basic motto of this CSMA-CD collision detection is sense before transmit. Sense before transmit. Before transmitting of data, first it sends the medium. Here the medium may be either wired or wireless. Either here the medium may be either wire or coaxial cable or fiber optical cable. So whatever it may be. So that what we discussed in the first lecture, guided transmission media. So guided transmission media consisting of fiber optical cable, twisted pair cable, and the coaxial cable. So a wire or coaxial cable, so which are using to transmit the data. Before transmitting the data, first it sends the medium. So if the medium is empty, then only it transmits the data. Whenever it sends, if the medium is busy, it will wait until the medium is free. So if the medium is busy, whenever it sends the medium, that medium means here a wire or a coaxial cable. If the medium is busy, the sender waits until it is free. Okay, that is the basic principle of CSMA-CD, sense before transmit. In generally, our elder ones always says listen before speak. So if you want to speak with some other, first of all, we have to listen what they are saying. So that is the basic principle before speaking with some other one. Listen before speak. Likewise, here also the basic principle followed by the CSMA is sense before transmit. Sense before transmit. So, if the medium is free, the sender starts transmitting data and continues to listen into the medium. Not only listen one time. So, after listening, if the medium is free, he wants to transmit the data. If the medium is free, the sender starts transmitting data and continues to listen into the medium. If the sender detects a collision while sending, it stops at once and sends a jamming signal. If the sender detects a collision while transmitting the data and listening into the medium, if the sender detects a collision while sending, it stops at once and sends a jamming signal. But this scheme doesn't work well with wireless networks. So, if you guys please listen carefully. Why CSMA CD is not good for wireless? Because in the wide communication medium, we mostly preferred CSMA CD, carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. Carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. This is the most commonly used MAC scheme for wide network. But here we have to be using wireless MACs in the mobile communication technology because the devices what we are using here is the movable device like notepads, like tablets or laptops or mobile phones, whatever the devices we are using, PDAs. So all are the movable device. So all are depending on the wireless communication medium, wireless communication technology. So in the wide communication technology, in the wide network, the preferred MAC scheme is CSMA CD, carrier sense multiple access, because there is a wide connection or coaxial cable connection is there between one device to the another device, or between one node to the another node, or between sender to the receiver. There is a path is established by using a wire. So in CSMA CD, by following the basic motto of sense before transmit, so before transmitting data, it sends the medium. If the medium is empty, then only it transmits. If there is any problem or any collision occurred, it sends a jamming signal. But here in the wireless communication, which is not possible, so the waves are transmitting by using either air or by using here the medium what we are using to transmitting the data is either air or vacuum. That what we have to be discussed in the unit number 1 in the unguided transmission media. In the unguided transmission media, which is using for the purpose of wireless communication medium, wireless for the purpose of wireless communication. In the wireless communication, data has to be transmitted by using either air or vacuum. So the signals are transmitted and using the path. Here the path is either air or vacuum. So this CSMA CD is not work for wireless communication. So here we have to prefer some specialized MACs. That's why this is the topic name, motivation for a specialized MAC. Why we prefer the specialized MAC for wireless communication or mobile computing. So why we prefer specialized MAC is the general MAC scheme for wired communication is CSMA CD, so which is sense before transmitter. So is the principle it has to follow. But this principle is not working for the wireless medium, wireless channels. So we have to prefer some specialized MACs. So what are the problems? So what are the general problems we facing there is the signal strength decreases proportional to the square of the distance. This is the major problem. The signal strength decreases proportional to the square of the distance. The sender would apply CS and CD, carrier sense and collision detection. But the collisions happened at the receiver. For example, if we solve the problem at the sender side, So there is no problem in sender side, but there is a possibility of collisions in the receiver side. For example, A wants to make a call to B. So A thinks B is absolutely free, but at a time C wants to make a call to B. While sensing A sends the channel of B, and that time B is empty. So when the time C sends B, so B is empty. So now A makes a call to B, but that particular time C also wants to make a call to B. The first A signal reaches to B, then after C signal reaches to B. There the collision will be occurred. So not only the sender side, there is a possibility of problem arising in the receiver side also. So we preferred specialized max here. So now move on to the next. The sender would apply CS and CDA, but the collision happened at the receiver side. There is a possibility of collision occurred in the receiver side. It might be a case that a sender cannot hear the collision, that is CD does not work. Collision detection does not work in the wireless medium. So it is the major principle for wide networks. Carrier sends multiple access with collision detection. But coming to the wireless, so here the CD does not work. Collision detection does not work. It might be a case that a sender cannot hear the collision. Furthermore, CS might not work if, for example, a terminal is hidden. Hidden means that what example we discussed before. So A wants to send data to B, C again wants to send data to B. C is not available to A. So what A thinks here, I am only the sender for B. So in the same way, so A is not available to C. So C thinks I am only the sender to B. But here both A and C are the senders, B is the receiver. So there are so many these type of situations are arised there in the wireless medium. For that purpose, we preferred specialized max in these wireless communication in the mobile computing environment. So the problems are the signal strength decreases proportional to the square of the distance. There is no problem in the generally there is no problem in the sender side. Sender thinks there is no problem in my side, but the collision happens at the receiver side. It might be a case that a sender cannot hear the collision. The CD does not work, so the collision detection principle doesn't work in the is mobile communication or wireless communication environment, which is works in the wide communication medium, but it doesn't works in the wireless communication medium. So furthermore, CS might not work. The example is hidden terminal. So these are the hidden and exposed terminal problems. Hidden and exposed terminal problems. So what are the problems arised there? Consider a scenario with 3 mobile phones as shown below. These are the 3 mobile phones, A, B and C. So the example what we discussed earlier. B is available to A. So here A is the sender, B is the receiver. Again B is available to C. Here C is the sender and B is the receiver. So B in the range of A, B in the range of C. So there is a possibility of communication B with A, there is a possibility of communication B with C. But if you observe, A doesn't know about C, C doesn't know about A. Why? Because A's range is up to B only. We observe these clips. This is the range of A. This is the range of C. This is the range of C. The range of A. So C is not in the range of A, and A is not in the range of C. A is not in the range of C. But here both A and C wants to send data to B. Generally, A and C wants to send data to B. A thinks so B is empty. It starts sending data. C also thinks B is empty. It transmits data, but there is a collision will be occurred at the B's area. So A is the hidden terminal to C, and C is the hidden terminal to A. That means C is not available in the A's range, and A is not available in the C's range. So A is the hidden terminal to C, and C is the hidden terminal to A. But B is available to both A and C. B in the range of A and B in the range of C. So consider the scenario of the diagram what we discussed there. Consider the scenario with three mobile phones as shown below. The transmission range of A reaches B. The transmission range of A reaches B, but not C. But not C. The transmission range of A reaches B, but not C. The detection range does not reaches C either. The transmission range of C reaches B, but not A. The transmission range of C reaches B, does not A. The transmission range of C reaches B, but not A. Transmission range. This is the transmission range of C. Transmission range of C reaches to B, does not A. So transmission range of A reaches to B, does not C. Finally, the transmission range of B reaches A and C. So this is why the problem is occurred here is the transmission finally the transmission range of B reaches both A and C. But here A cannot detect C and vice versa, means C cannot detect A. A cannot detect C and C cannot detect A. A cannot detect C and C cannot detect A is the problem in the hidden and exposed terminal. This is the general example for the hidden and exposed problem. So what is meant by hidden terminals? What is meant by hidden terminals? A sends to B, C cannot hear A. C wants to send to B, C sends a free medium. That is, when the time of C sends, B is empty. So the medium is free. Collision at B occurs. A cannot detect this collision. Collision detection is fails. That's why we discussed it. Collision detection is not effective here in the wireless communication. Collision detection is good. While before transmitting of data, sends the medium that workouts in the wide communication medium, but it doesn't work out in the wireless communication medium. So the collision detection is fails here. When the time of C sends the B, B is empty. But when C sends the data, whenever the data reaches to B, there is a collision will be occurred because there the data is sent by A to the B. A sends to B, C cannot hear A. So C doesn't know about A. Why? Because A not in the range of C. A is not in the range of C. So when the time of C sends, it shows free. So that is the problem. Collision detection problem is occurred here. So collision at B occurs. A cannot detect this collision. So A is hidden from C and C is hidden from A. So this is the hidden terminal problem. So likewise, exposed terminal problem and near and far terminal problems are there. That's why we preferred specialized max. So again, we have to discuss these hidden and exposed problem and near and far terminal problems in the wireless mobile communication, and why we preferred specialized max. Again, we have to discuss these topics in the next lecture. So this is the introduction to unit number 2, medium access control, MAC. So So which is specially we need a wireless MAC here in the mobile computing environment. So in this unit we have to cover the topics like motivation for specialized MAC, HDMA, FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, medium accesses, different medium access, and wireless LAN IEEE 802.11. So MAC stands for media access control or medium access control. MAC stands for either media access control or medium access control, which is the sublayer of data link layer. Data link layer consisting of two sublayers. Those are logical link control and medium access control. So medium access control is the interface between logical link control and the physical layer. So a MAC layer emulates a full duplex logical communication. A full duplex logical communication. And this channel may provide all three: unicast, multicast, and broadcast communications. So why we prefer specialized MACs? In general MACs, so wide network CSMA CD, carrier sense multiple access with collision detection, is preferred because it sends before transmit. That is possible in the wired communication. So collision detection is not possible there in the wireless communication because of these problems we discussed. So these are the problems: hidden and exposed terminals, near and far terminals. So how we have to avoid these problems? So what are the channels we preferred for the wireless communication? That what we have to be discussed in the coming